Hi, and welcome to our Animation Resources live stream. This one is another RefPack review. I'm Davey Gerald. I'm a storyboard artist in TV animation, and I serve as the Director of Programming at Animation Resources. And I've got a guest with me today. He's the Director of Publications at Animation Resources and runs the tech for our live streams, David Eisman.
Hi, Davey.
Hey, David.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Cool. So, today we're going to be going over our current members-only reference pack, but before we do that, I'm going to quickly tell you a little bit about Animation Resources. So, Animation Resources is a 501c3 nonprofit that specializes in art curation. We preserve art from the past so it can be used to inform art of the future. And we provide context for everything we share. The history behind it, information about the artists who created it, and how the ideas can be applied to your own work. If you're not already, I highly encourage you to become a member of Animation Resources. Paying members get access to a new reference pack every other month. Reference packs include rare animated films and ebooks filled with cartooning and illustration, all work you'd probably never otherwise see. Students, this is a great time to join with the start of the new school year. I started up my membership when I was a student, and it was a great supplement to my education. School is great, but it doesn't teach you everything you need to know. This will help you fill in the gaps. You can sign up right now at animationresources.org/membership. One more time, that's animationresources.org/membership. So just a couple quick announcements. We just finished our student membership drive. For that, we re-released a video that I made last year with Pez, where we give advice to animation students. I highly recommend checking that out. You can find it on our Animation Resources YouTube channel. It's called Animation Resources Advice for Students 2023. Also, Steve Worth and I are still working on our Acting for Animation seminar. That will hopefully be done sometime for one of our winter ref packs. And our current reference pack got put up in October, and it will be available to download until early December. So if you're watching this and you like what you see, sign up for our membership to download before the first week of December. All right, so let's get into today's topic. We're going to go over some of the highlights from our most recent reference pack. This is reference pack number 54, and it's probably our biggest one to date. So this reference pack has an ebook featuring political cartoons from Oli Harrington, 1950s industrial animated film by John Sutherland, animated films from China, Italy, Russia, Croatia, and Japan, 2 classic silent Charlie Chaplin films, curated breakdowns of animated filmmaking techniques, and a new episode of our podcast series, Animated Discussions. So let's start off with the ebook. It's a compilation of cartoons by the great Oli Harrington. So Oli Harrington was well regarded in the 1900s as America's greatest African American cartoonist. He became well known in the Harlem Renaissance in the 1930s for the Amsterdam News under the title Dark Laughter. So let's look at some of his work.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like in the
so
foreground, everyone's so darkly colored, but then through the window, they're all light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that creates a lot of depth. There's so much variety in body and head shapes.
It's interesting where he chose not to shadow, like between them here, because there would be too much visual noise because of the microphone stand, this character and this character, and the chair, so he doesn't shadow it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, all the shadows. It's really emphasized in the jackets. Yeah, this is fantastic.
That's amazing.
Such a great pose, such a great expression.
So solid. Like that's a lot of shapes and like circles, and it's solid the entire time.
Yeah, it's very clean looking, but also organic.
The
No,
fabric lines really nicely done, especially on
Mhm.
when she's spreading the lower part of her dress.
They read really well. This is a great composition.
It's like an up camera. It's tilting upward, right? Or is the
No,
perspective just wonky?
Isn't it tilting?
Yeah,
tilting
it's tilting down. It's
down?
tilting down. My bad.
Yeah.
It's tilting down.
Yeah. Yeah, so the cartoon often featured the character Bootsy, which, in Harrington's words, was a typical African American man dealing with issues like racial inequality, segregation, and poverty in Harlem. So he's in the right of this image here, and he shows up in a lot of these single panel.
This guy?
cartoons. Yeah. Cool. Next, we have our video section featuring an industrial cartoon from 1957 called The Littlest Giant. And this one is by John Sutherland Productions.
No audio, because otherwise we'll get taken down.
Exactly. So
this is UPA, right?
It's not. It's Sutherland.
It's not?
I mean,
oh really? It looks exactly like.
Yeah. It does look exactly like UPA. I mean,
yeah.
It was done in the same time period. Well, this is a little after UPA, so I think.
Was that done on in camera? The addition of all those characters, like, or did they like paint over after the fact, or were they like half of a cell? Like, how did they do that?
I have no idea. It looked like it was done in camera because it had a different.
Yeah.
It had a different effect than the rest of it. I remember we showed this cartoon a couple streams ago. At the end, we watched the whole thing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get Doc for that. Only the Goofy one.
Yeah, I guess this one's obscure.
Yeah. I
but
like
just
the style.
Be safe.
I've always liked the style of the UPA style with the characters. How like there's no differentiation in line density, but it still works even though it's flat.
It works really well for these types of cartoons where they're not so much like personality focused, but just getting a lot of different, more like conceptual ideas across.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's a great cartoon. Next, we have our international section, and we have cartoons from China, Italy, Russia, and Croatia. So this first one here. Oh, it's crazy. It's
Is this China, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Princess
paper cutout?
Iron Fan. No, it's got some rotoscoping. So this is done by the Wan brothers in China, 1941. And yeah, it's a combination of rotoscope and surreal metamorphosis animation. It's kind of reminiscent of early Fleischer.
Is this Cell, or did they do it a different way?
This is Cell.
Wow, look at that effect. It's very, crazy. Very reminiscent of early Fleischer. Especially that fire.
Stories. So this is a whole feature, and the story's kind of convoluted, but basically it involves Monkey King's quest to defeat the bold Demon King, who's married to the beautiful demoness Princess Iron Fan.
Whoa, camera move.
Yeah.
That's like sounds like the Monkey King.
And that was like a little moonwalk he just did.
Yeah. That's so cool. Oh, it plays twice for some reason.
Yeah, that one's crazy. Yeah, next is a cartoon from Italy.
This looks
Mr.
Italian.
Rossi Buys a Car. This is from 1967, and it was made by Bruno Bazzetto, who's the same guy who made that Fantasia parody we shared in a previous reference pack, the
Oh, very nice.
Allegro non troppo. It's a similar goofy
That's interesting.
style.
That wing cycle is 3 frames. It's like up just enough to complete the wave principle.
So there's up and then follow through and then
Yeah, you know, like the wave principle has to like bend the S curve. It's just 1, 2, 3.
mm-hmm.
I guess only 2 frames then. 1, 2.
There's not a lot of in-betweens in this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the
No,
posing and timing is so strong.
Timing is great.
I love that.
That's great. Ooh, nice head turn.
That's such a good drawing of him in the car. Well, next is a cartoon from Russia called
This is
Happy
Russian.
Merry-Go-Round. Yeah. And this is the first episode
Whoa.
of the series from 1969 called Happy Merry-Go-Round. And the episode contains 4 short films. And this one is the second of the 4 short films. And it's called Antoshka. And it's a song about a lazy boy who refuses to dig potatoes.
Sounds very
I guess,
Russian.
but like there's no audio here, but it's like a music video.
Whoa.
I love the animation on that little character. It's got the same rendering style as those Winnie the Pooh cartoons from Russia.
That same watercolor background.
Mm-hmm. And the last one in this section is a 1967 cartoon from Croatia called The Inventor of Shoes. And this is featuring this character, Professor Balthazar, an old man who solves problems for his friends by creating inventions with a magical machine.
Croatian animation is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Is this cascading or is it just or are the frames like interlinked? What's the word? You know when you like when you try to split like a video that's poorly like rendered, you try to split it and it's like all the frame interpolated. Was that interpolated or was that like purposeful cascading between in-betweens?
Which part were you looking at?
Like one sec. Look at the shoes walking. On that like walks, see how they're interpolated. I guess
sure.
interlaced. That's the word.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just lost it. One sec.
Is de-interlacing when you go in and get rid of that?
Yeah, it can't always be done though. Like,
if
the source material is really messed up, like it just won't work.
Yeah. We'll be right back to our podcast in a couple minutes, but first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Animation Resources. Animation Resources serves as the perfect bridge between being a student and being a professional. Here's how it helped me when I was a student. I first discovered Animation Resources when I was studying animation at USC. I thought I knew all about what it took to be a professional animator. I mean, I was getting good grades. That was enough, right? Well, when I first met Stephen Worth, he pointed out to me the obvious error in my train of thought, that most animation students are not industry ready when they graduate, despite how well they do in school. Now, I learned a lot in school, but it definitely doesn't teach you everything you need to know to be a professional. So here's how animation resources bridged the gap from being a student to being a professional. In school, I learned the mechanics of animation and drawing. I learned how to use some programs, but the part that was missing was how to be creative. Now, being creative, or learning to think like an artist, is the key to longevity in animation. Art styles come and go, the programs we use are always changing, but the need to be creative is constant. Animation resources gave me a much broader frame of reference and showed me just how important that it is to keep growing as an artist. Now I'm a professional, and animation resources is still useful to me as a professional. I work primarily as a storyboard artist in TV animation. I've worked on Teen Titans Go, The Patrick Star Show, Monster High, Baby Shark's Big Show, Dinosaur Train, and many others. And animation resources is still informing me and helping me to be more creative in my work. As a professional artist, you really can't stand still. You have to be constantly learning and growing to remain competitive and to be able to handle new challenges. Animation resources reference packs are full of new ideas and inspiration, material that I didn't know existed. It's all stuff you need to know about that you didn't even know you needed. Every time I open a reference pack, I'm introduced to a whole new world. I archive them on a hard drive on my computer and use them as a reference library. When I come across something at work that I'm not quite sure how to approach, I'll think of something I saw months previous in a reference pack and I'll refer back to it, and it'll give me new ideas on how to move forward. This isn't just material that's useful for a month or two. This is a reference library that I'm building that I will use for the rest of my life. So here are the benefits of membership for animation resources. Every other month, you will receive access to a brand new downloadable reference pack. Here's what's in a reference pack. Informative articles on animation history and technique, like how Chuck Jones and the Golden Age animators used musical timing on bar sheets, the influence of sports cartoonist Leo Amelia, and the history of the 53 stations of the Tokaido Road. You also get high-resolution ebooks on cartooning, animation, and illustration. These include drawing courses like the one by Eugene Zimmerman and treasures of Japanese cartooning like Hokusai's manga. You also get rare animated feature films from China, Russia, and Japan, rarely seen industrial films by John Sutherland Studios, silent films, documentaries on filmmaking, and a podcast series called Animated Discussions. Podcast episodes cover a variety of subjects like how animators can learn from live action and the history of cartooning in both the East and the West. And it features interviews with well-known professionals like Craig Bartlett and Joe Murray. So, here's how to use these reference packs. When a lot of people first look at the content of a reference pack, they don't know what to think. It looks so far removed from anything they do or understand that they don't see how it's relevant. If it's not Chuck Jones or Milt Kahl or Miyazaki, they don't know what to do with it. But the fact that it looks new or different, that it's something they've never seen before, is exactly the point. Just because you can't find an immediate practical purpose for this material doesn't mean it isn't useful. The material is meant to be taken in slowly over time. Our goal is to share material with you that you didn't already know about. I know it's more comfortable to look at things you're already familiar with so you feel like you have a grasp on the subject, but creativity is an uncomfortable process. You have to think outside the box and push yourself to do things you've never done before. If you don't, you run the risk of sliding back into formulas. Learning to be creative is no different. You have to forcibly break old habits, open your eyes to the world, and glean inspiration from new sources. The broader your frame of reference, the wider your creative scope. New things should really excite you because they encourage new ways of thinking and inspire new things you can create. So, the purpose of these reference packs is not to go through them once and never look at them again. There's way too much to take in at once. They're meant to be stored on a hard drive so you can refer back to them as needed throughout your artistic career. So, there are 3 levels for an animation resources membership. The general membership, which is only $95 per year. Then there's the student membership, which is for students and full-time educators, and that's only $70 per year. And the third membership level is the quarterly membership, where you're billed just $30 every 3 months. And that's not all. For both the student and general membership, with every new reference pack, you also receive a bonus reference pack, which is a rerun of an old reference pack. This means you get double the amount of reference packs. 12 instead of just 6. And for the quarterly membership, you get access to everything except the bonus reference pack. So if you're not sure about committing to an annual membership, it's a good place to start out to see what you think. After looking at a couple reference packs, though, I think you'll see that the general membership will be well worth it, and we'll be happy to upgrade your membership anytime. What's really unique about Animation Resources is that it curates for you. All the content we provide is handpicked by our outstanding advisory board. Ralph Bakshi, Sherm Cohen, Steve Stanchfield, JJ Settlemeyer, and other seasoned pros. They've shared material from their personal reference libraries, things they have found useful throughout their careers, and it's all expertly curated by Stephen Worth and our board. We sort through all the material and present it organized in a way that you can absorb it and use it in your own creative work. I mean, just look at this podcast. Can you think of anywhere else where you can find information organized for you like this? All of our content is specifically targeted at animators, cartoonists, and illustrators like you. And the best part is you'll be supporting a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is run by artists for artists. I don't know how long it would have taken me to get my first job without this organization. You can join right now at animationresources.org/membership. Again, that's animationresources.org/membership. If you're a creative person, you should definitely be a member of Animation Resources. All right, jumping back into our reference pack, next is our anime section. And this time we're featuring 2 episodes from the 1969 series Tiger Mask. And Tiger Mask was based on a manga of the same name. So this first clip is from episode 21. It's a really unique style, as you'll see. It's angular designs are they're complemented by the jaggedness of the Xerox copy technique transferred to cells. And you can see the animation's really limited, but it works well when you've got strong poses and timing. But
they were really happy with that pose. They just zoomed in on it.
Timing isn't always great in this.
They were like, yes, that is the pose to end all poses.
But you can see how this became like, an early version of the anime style that we all know.
Yeah, that jagged and like lines, simple poses. Actually, not simple.
And
like
holding
poses,
on poses.
Yeah. Holding, oh yeah, holding. Ooh, that was nice. That had some in-betweens in it. That was like 7 drawings.
They like pick and choose where they do like full animation. And then we got a clip from episode 22.
Oh, wow. They're doing turns and... Wow.
This is really, really, really nice.
Whoa. Did they just have way more money in this episode?
I just picked a clip where there's a lot of action. There's still plenty of scenes that are slow.
Okay, yeah.
But like they'll hold on, that pose and like the crowd here, they're not.
Yeah.
In Western animation,
they'll do that shake.
They do a cycle, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
A shaking cycle, but they have no problem.
In modern anime, they'll do that, but they'll just add those speed lines on the side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. The timing's like kind of even, but the posing's amazing.
The artists are so good. Yeah, timing can be a little clunky, but the drawings are really cool. Cool. So the next thing in here is the analysis of head rotation. And David, you you did this, so take it away.
Ho, ho, wee, wee.
I should probably not play it with sound, but I'll just play the whole thing through, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
Ooh.
How did you decide this as a topic? These kind of like undefined principles of animation that you define.
This one's just been in my notes for a while to like do ever since I saw the old gray hair and by that turn by William McKinson, which I think is at the end. I was like, this would make a great topic. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, this one goes on a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so that's William McKinson?
Yeah, that's Steve says it's William McKinson, yeah. Like the thing I talk about mostly. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering, are there like 4 McKimson brothers or something?
I think there are 4 McKimson brothers.
4.
And then this one's great. This one's the most unique out of them all of them because it uses multiples in betweens and like warping to create its head waggle. So in the article, I talk about like the difference between head turns and then head waggles. So like most of what he's doing here is a head turn. Mm-hmm. And so that's like really difficult because you basically have to imagine like their head rotated 5 degrees and then draw that and then over and over again. But you also have to have proper like spacing. So it can't just be the same 5 degrees. It should be like 5, 5, 10, 15, 30, 25, 10, 5, 5 to create like slow in, slow out. Yeah, all right. I wrote it. I like did specific frame counts in my article. So it's like at frame 72, Mr. Magoof's head is almost entirely front facing, then transitions to a side view through frame 79, ending at a back view, completely opposite the initial key. So he basically makes like a 180 turn. Then another head turn in this is a dual head waggle. This is the Willie McKinson one, which is like the end all be all. Like he goes so far. And it's like he there's no stutter, there's no hitch, there's no shake, which is like crazy because like all the lines on his face, especially when he turns. And then waggles are like Milt Kahl's thing. When it goes like it's kind of like a stutter, a stagger, I mean, but like more controlled and more fluid. And it's usually done to like make dialogue more interesting.
But what Milt Kahl did is different than what McKimson did.
Yeah, like you see that I was like a 1-2, so it's It's like he goes from left to rest to right to left to rest. So it's like back and forth, back and forth.
There was a back and forth in it, yeah.
Yeah. It's very fast, and it's like...
So that's the waggle?
That's a waggle.
Okay.
And then you have a head whip, which is what most of this horse does. So it's not like a deliberate turn. It's like he's whipping it. So you need a lot more slow in, slow out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But on that one was a head turn. Did you see, like, when he was coming back around? I wish I had my Premiere open. That was a head turn, not a whip, because it wasn't fast enough. You could totally say that head turns and head whips are kind of the same, but whatever. This one's interesting. This is James Baxter. It's a double head turn. Head waggle, I mean. So the cool thing about this one is that their faces are almost always off center line. So they're never like in the same direction. So it feels like they're two different characters. Instead of just the same thing over and over again. Like he's off center line. So it's like really, because they're kind of do different things at once, but it's also a waggle because they're going back and forth, back and forth.
They're both doing it.
They're both doing it. They're both doing the waggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
See? And then this one's interesting. The one from Snow White. Because he like bends the anatomy and warps.
Yeah, what's going on there?
It's a
It
it's
makes
a
it
it's a
look
morph.
like a plushie toy.
Yeah. It's a morph. It's like he's playing with the dimensions. And then
I'm
he
wondering
snaps
why they
back.
chose to do that, though.
I don't know. I guess just to enhance the effect.
It does make it look like his head's filled with water.
It does, but it's also like just kind of doesn't make any sense because I don't think they're squash and stretch throughout most of the movie.
No, I mean that's so odd. I like it. I just want to know the thinking behind it. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was informative.
It's a bit of a more
Read the
boring
article now.
topic than like in the article I go into like frame count, so I give you the explicit frames at which these things are happening, and like how many frames is in a turn.
I'll have to look at that again. So yeah, this is our Sidetrack section, and we feature 2 silent films from Charlie Chaplin, Easy Street and The Adventurer, and they're both from 1917. So this clip from Easy Street.
Hold on.
Chuck Jones cited Chaplin as one of his biggest influences, along with his contemporaries Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton. But Chaplin stood out, and he became the first international superstar, turning slapstick into an actually respected art form. So, at his peak, I didn't know this until recently, Chaplin was the highest paid person in the world.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I think
Wow.
I think you skipped the second half of that last.
From here.
Yeah. I mean, just his pose and the way he walks just kind of tells you everything you need to know about the character.
Yeah. When you have limitations, you gotta find ways to express yourself creatively. He looks so uncomfortable.
No, this clip is from The Adventurer. This one's really cool. The way it's staged. So these films were so influential to animators.
Oh, absolutely.
At Disney, they had action analysis classes where they would screen a film, break it down frame by frame, and discuss the principles of staging and performance that the animators could learn from and apply to their own work. And some of the notes from these sessions survived, and they're available to download with this reference pack. So,
oh wow,
that alone should be a reason to join animation.
I gotta check that out. I didn't see that. I expected it to be a deeper hole.
I love how quickly he climbs.
He's scrambling up there.
That's great. I mean, everyone that he had in his films were such good physical comedians. So yeah, next we have a new episode of our podcast series, Animated Discussions, and this one is an interview with Animation Resources President Stephen Worth. So this interview was conducted by Jennifer Crittenden for her podcast Books, Shows, Tunes, and Mad Acts. So Steve Worth covers a variety of topics in this interview pertaining to creativity, and also he talks quite a bit about animation resources. So download this podcast and check it out. Finally, we have our bonus section, which is a rerun of Reference Pack number 23. So first is the PDF ebook featuring excerpts from the caricature magazine Simplicissimus, which translates to Simpleton. So this ebook features over 2 months worth of issues in their entirety from 1903 to 1904. This was the most daring magazine of the day. It made fun of military officers, class divisions, loose social morals, and powerful political leaders. So the King of Prussia at the time, Kaiser Wilhelm, objected to a caricature of himself in the magazine and shut it down, forcing its publisher to flee Switzerland and throwing the cartoonist in jail. So next is the pilot episode of the 1963 series Astro Boy, which would become known as the first anime series. And finally, a Heckle and Jekyll cartoon, Snow Fun, produced by Terry Toons in 1951. Great animation by Jim Tyre in that one. So, reminder, you have until the first week of December to download this reference pack. So, if you're not a member, sign up and download all this great stuff while you still can. Thank you so much, David, for joining me and for making this run smoothly.
Of course.
As always. And also, thank you to everyone who's watching. And a huge special thanks to all of our members. Without you, none of this would be possible. Don't forget, if you're not already, I highly recommend becoming a member of Animation Resources. With the bi-monthly reference packs curated by our board, the bonus archive, and the podcasts, you will have a great start at building a personal library of reference material that will serve you for your entire artistic career. And it's a huge bargain. It's only $70 per year if you're a student or educator, and $95 per year for the general membership. And there's also a quarterly membership, which is $30 every 3 months. You can sign up right now at animationresources.org/membership. One more time, that's animationresources.org/membership.